my gosh, I have never seen a well-detailed, fully organized income expense statement on a Google Sheet as organized as she did hers. Like, it was so amazing that it was so easy. I feel like she's literally mastered the Google Workspace so good. And I said to her, I said, let's use what you have.
We are looking at something that looks like a fingerprint. That is what we talk about often when we talk about storytelling, which is why storytelling is very important in your marketing, in your branding, because your story is unique. There is no way another person can just replicate you. It's not possible. That is like saying that if a policeman arrests 100 people, if a fingerprint, then everything is going to be confusing because there are many people. No, every person is still unique.
Now, a good system is highly personalized. A good system, right, has a sweet atom of the human touch. And you see, that human touch, that human interference is what nobody can take away from you. They can take the documentation, they can want to do it, like literally apply it, but they can't be you. Active boys. So these boys, from their conception, literally changed my life and changed the way I see things, right? Or I see life generally. And aside from being a mom, I'm a wife. I am also an entrepreneur. I currently have 3 amazing businesses thriving online. So I'm super proud of them anyways. I'm also a systems implementation strategist and a fractional CMO. So it goes in that order, because first, it literally starts with my kids. I always say that I'm full-time into nurturing my children. So that's literally the angle of who Teecee is. So that's basically it. That's a summary of who I am. And
all right, that's super. Thank you so much, Teecee, for being here. Now, Obehi Podcast is fully into storytelling. Like, we are really interested in the story of people. So today we have the privilege of learning about you, what make you think. We want to know why are you even doing what you are doing. But first, we'd like to learn more about you. Tell me, where were you born, and what do you remember of your infancy growing up?
Okay, so originally I'm actually Igbo, right? And Nigerian, obviously. I'm Igbo, but I was born and raised in the West. And the truth is, growing up, I've known what it means to have a family. Growing up, family was like literally everything. I remember that, at a stage, things weren't really good for my parents. And the truth was, even as things were going going back and forth for them, it didn't change one thing. That's the bond that we had as a family, and I feel like that made me want to scale more, want to be the best version of me, because then I know that my success, has so much to do with the next person. I grew up understanding that, love is important. I grew up understanding that I can't afford to be selfish, because there are other people relying on my success. So growing up was not that easy, mentally as a child, because I think when I started to understand what money was, good was, things started to go like the other side for my parents. And so I was that understanding child who would only get what she wanted after, everyone else has gotten this. But it was, I think, right, that it was fine by me then because I understood. I understood because, I was my mom's. I know she doesn't like to say this loud, but I know, and we all know, that I was her favorite. And that was because, I was very understanding. But deep inside my heart, I wanted more. And so you can look at me as that understanding child that wanted more but couldn't say, right? And so, but I understood that, it was just what was happening. And so I grew up, went to high school, went to the university, and I started my life. I started my life knowing that I didn't want to have to ask. I didn't want to have to take second place. I didn't want to have to understand why depriving myself of the things that I wanted, right? And I had to start to work. I think for me, I started working because I've always known that I didn't want a no, right? I didn't want to be seen as I have to wait for my mom, to be able to foot my bills. And so it just started off for me like that because I wanted to be free. I wanted to be free of, finances. I wanted to be free to make decisions for myself at age 15. And, it just started off that way for me. And I feel that at some point, thinking about it, right? I think that that's one reason why, I am who I am right now. Sometimes people be like, it was a hard journey growing up, childhood and all, because we're much. I think I used to say we're much, but I have about how many siblings, but it made me strong and it made me, swallow certain things that I have come across in this short period of my life. And I've been able to overcome them, and I am where I am. So, yeah, I think that's just the summary of my childhood and, where I am right now.
So you actually started anyway. Pretty much, is no brainer anymore to say that the Igbo people of Nigeria are very good in entrepreneurship. That is no need denying that. That is so
No,
true.
but
Yeah, tell me.
okay, so let me be fair,
Mm-hmm.
right? Come from a family of educationalists, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm from Imo State, right? And I'm sure if you know the Imo State part of the East,
Mm-hmm.
we are more into the book,
All
right?
right.
My mom is a teacher. My grandma was a teacher. My other grandma was a teacher. All my uncles are professors, right? I have two uncles professors in one in Texas, one in Connecticut. The other one is a doctor in like Doctor University in Ireland. And so it's just a family of books. And now my husband's family are a family of tech, IT. That's basically what they know. My in-laws are professors as well. So it's a trust me. The truth is, I am the only official entrepreneur in my entire family.
Oh wow, that is another good thing again. But anyway, generally speaking, I want to repeat that again because I'm in Nigeria. I know that the Igbo people of Nigeria are very good in entrepreneurship. That is a
True,
fact. All right.
true.
Having said that, you started to dabble into entrepreneurship at the age 15. Tell me exactly what were you doing at the age 15 in entrepreneurship? What exactly were you doing to make money?
You know what to do.
Of course, I
So
want to
this is
know.
my
That is why I'm here.
so let me tell you. So my mom said, and I quote her because I can't remember, but my mom said that at age 7, there used to be like this building at the back of our house, like a street at the back of our house, that they have like fruits, like they have trees, fruits, like a very, I think the man had like this plantation that he grows like fruits, different fruits. And she said that during like harvest, that I would go there like with other children, and then I'll pick like mangoes, different fruits, and then I'll pack them. And when everybody's like struggling to eat theirs, I'm saying no, I'm going to sell my own. Like the first time I did that, so she's like, when does this girl know she wants to go sell something? And she said, she decided to just leave me and see how far I would go with it. And so I kept crying that I wanted to sell my own, I didn't want to eat mine and all of that. And she said that the mango was like almost, like the mangoes were really ripening up, and she's like, what, how do you want to do it? And I'm like, I'm going to find a way to sell it. And she said that, after like 2 days, I came to meet her and I said I sold the mango, and she's wondering, where did I sell it? And she said, she asked me that, like, how did I do it? And I said, well, I sold it. Apparently, I sold it to the man that had that had the trees. So she said that it was so funny because I insisted that I was going to sell the mangoes, and because it felt like, what, I didn't want to eat it, I just want to sell it because I wanted money in return, right? I wanted to feel different amongst the rest of the children. And so because I didn't see who to buy the mangoes for me, I literally sold it back to the man, and the man gave me money. And remember, she was telling me this story, and I was laughing, and she's like, she knows she's not going to, I'm not going to remember, And so when I told her that, because I remember I finished secondary school, and like I told you, things weren't that as smooth as it used to be. So, and I wanted to go, and I remember I did my nursing exams, and I passed twice. I finished school really, really early, because I jumped some classes. So I finished school really early. So I wanted to go into university as well. But every single time, like I come back, I pass my exam, my nursing exam, then because my mom wanted me to be a nurse. I didn't care because I really didn't know what was that. I just knew my mom wanted me to be a nurse. So I did like the nursing exams like twice, but each time I go home, my mom is like, oh, this is very expensive. But every year it's like it becomes more expensive. So I think the third time she said, go for another nursing exam. I'm like, no, I'm not going to go for another nursing exam because I know you can't pay. And I remember she really cried a lot, she was crying, and I said sorry because apparently what I said hurt her. So I just, sorry, and we both were crying. So I told her not to worry with that. At the end of the day, all I really want is to be successful. That it doesn't really matter, that what God, what would be would be. And I remember that I had to first. So what I started to do was I started to get so there's this woman, she does like really wholesale ventures, she does like wholesale provisions and all of that. So I would get from her my mommy's school, I would take some, and then I would go to my mom's school to sell it to those teachers, right? So I was doing that. And when I finished secondary school, I then got a job in a primary school. So I was doing that and with the job in the primary school, because I was just teaching like the preschool baby class, more or less. So I was able to gather some money that paid for my school, the university, because I finally, I had to go for another course, and I jumped into school, right? But officially, so it was just like back and forth just to make sure that I get like my school fees and all of that. And I remember my sister was supposed to go into a private school as well. And so obviously she's like this soft life kind of girl. And so she didn't want to struggle. So I said, okay, let's work for two. Let me work for two. So I worked for two. And I was able to get the school fees that paid for myself and her. But officially, I started doing my drop shipping business. I think it was the third semester, first year in school in the University of Ibadan. Yeah, so what I did was I buy things from AliExpress. I don't know if you know AliExpress. So yeah, so I buy things from AliExpress, they ship it down to me, and then I just repackage it, and then I send it to like the school. I had like customers in the hostel then, so yeah, and it was good. It was doing well until I got tired because of all of the whole back and forth with I realized that I could order for some items because then it started looking good. Like business was good. I didn't know if I wanted to continue, but I just wanted to make money just so I'm able to do what I needed to do, like, do my schooling and all of that, because I loved my book, right? And I didn't want anything that would maybe hinder my education. So, but it was good, but it got frustrating because I wasn't able to deliver anyone because I could order like some items and before it would come, people started getting like, oh, when are these items going to come? So I had to stop that. I think I had to stop that in like year 3, thereabouts. But that was basically my very official business.
Thank you so much for that. You see, this is a confirmation of everything that I'm saying. We can see that you're really a grind in it, and it's really into you. We can see that. It's good. This is good, no? You are living your passion. It's the best thing to do.
Well, but I didn't see it. I didn't see it that way.
Mhm.
That's true. I didn't see it that way then. I just saw it as a survival mode, right? But I think right now, thinking about it, I think right now, everything that happened, and that's why I love to say that everything that happens for the best. There is nothing like a mistake. There's nothing like, oh, I just stumbled into it. Somehow I feel like God finds a way of setting us in the right path because of the future that, we can't see. So, yeah, but the truth is, during that period, I wasn't seeing it like that. I was just seeing it as, survival mode. Okay, you know what? Because I was making money, I was good, and hey, I was living big in school regardless of what happened. So that was all about it.
That's good. That's good. All right. So tell me, destination Europe. You were living in Nigeria then, but now you are in the UK. Tell me, how come about that journey?
Oh, okay. Um, so I love to travel, but that's not the reason. So my husband is a software engineer, and his job basically, because as he grows and he becomes better of himself, he's seeking better opportunities, right? And my business personally started to make sense. I will use the word make sense because I'm of this opinion that if your business is yet to pay your bills, then it's not making sense yet. so my business started to make sense. I think about six six 6 years 6 years ago. It started to make sense 6 years ago because I started all of this 9 years ago. Right? And so it started to make sense a bit 6 years ago. And so, but I got in fully about 5 years ago, right? And we moving was basically because of my husband, right? And he wanted better opportunity. In his words, he said that his friends are telling him of how he's losing up on opportunity, and besides, all of these really good deals started to like troop in for him and all of that. So he said it was he wanted to, and well, I respected it, and then we just moved. Now, the truth is, this is not where I want to be. Um, but for the time being, that's what we can do because of him. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we are going to be moving at another stage because for him it's really all about like his career and he's doing really well. So I feel like that's me supporting him. And besides, I can work anywhere. I can work anywhere. Wherever I am is where my office is. So we talked about it, and he's like, he feels like opportunity and all of that. So we moved about 4 years ago, thereabout, because of him. So yeah, and we just might be moving anytime soon again because of him. So
That's good. That's good. But that is really very interesting, you know. I mean, that is the family is making sacrifice. You are making sacrifice for him, and I believe that he's also making for you, and that really make it kind of a big bond there in the family, you know. Because it's not always easy. But if we are able to make sacrifice, understand each other, then it can seem to be very easy. But that is not really very easy. Life is challenging, you know. That is the
yeah,
truth.
not
Yeah,
easy.
yeah.
It's not easy, but I remember that when we started the whole issue with childbirth, because we stayed about 5 years before having the boys, and it was such a traumatic issue. Even when we lost the other one, it was like really bad. And
Sorry about
so I got,
that.
it's fine. Actually never saw him, so sometimes I'm like, it just sometimes I sit down, I'm like, how would he have looked like, so but it's fine. But I remember that period, I was almost losing my mind. um and he was there, you know even before the whole period of no child back and forth, like the way Nigerians go, especially with childbearing thing and all of that. Even if you are outside of the country, they find a way of using their mouth to locate you where you are. So you can't you can't always run away. you know. But it was a really tough time for me personally. But he was there. He's been there. He has always been there. He made the entire process for me um seamless. And I feel he still makes the entire process for me seamless. Like, I feel like the only thing I can't do right now, and that's because I choose not to, is maybe leave the kids for a very long time and, do some other things. But I feel like that's time for everything. But throughout, you know, life changes for me, he's been there. So if he says tomorrow, babe, we're moving, I don't mind. I take my laptop. That's all I need. My laptop, my credit cards, and I'm gone. Like, that's all I need, really. So I really don't have a problem with it. Because if he's happy, I'm happy, the children are happy. That's really all that matters, really, for me.
Thank you so much for that. Of course, I don't have to add anything to that. That is already beautifully well packaged together. That's fine. Now, you move, you take your luggage, you take your laptop, you take your credit card. Of course, you take your passport with you. Your business is set, right? That
It's
is the
set.
beauty of the time. So now you are running three businesses. So tell me something about that. How do you do that?
So it didn't just happen. Okay, it didn't just happen. That's the truth. It didn't just happen. So as an ex, no, I wouldn't say it's ex because I still do it. Okay, so as a corporate employee, right? I used to be an operations project manager, right? And so I did that. I think that's one role that I did for a good number of years, so like maybe 6 years, straight up without changing jobs, because I had this habit of changing jobs. Because my husband used to say that I don't like to stay one place. We say, babe, you don't like to stay one place. You know, and I'm like, at first when we first met, he always used to look like he was trying to be, naughty. But then I realized that, he's not really wrong, because, I love freedom, and I love, to do my thing. because I'm a really deep thinker, I analyze things a whole lot, So I'm not one person that think that there is a one way to a certain thing. I always believe that there's always a way around certain things, And I feel like so many of these workspaces, they make it look like, oh, this is a rule, and so you need to stick there. And so when I start to feel uncomfortable, I don't like to be uncomfortable in spaces that I find myself. So when I start feeling uncomfortable, I take my leave. My mental health is top priority for me. So I just take my leave, But this particular role, I was in there for a long time. And it was because I had the freedom to make the decisions for the company because it was a different dynamics for me. I was literally managing a branch of the brand, so I had to like take decisions. I feel like it was during my work there that I officially did like really successful launch campaigns. Something that I remember that there's a time where the business was really down, and the founder then was of this opinion that the business was seasonal, right? So people can only buy from her at a certain season, maybe like festive seasons and all of that, because it was a beverage company, right? And I said to her, I said, no, I don't believe that. I believe that every business should be able to, yes, fine, there are seasons. However, every business should be able to make money all year round. Now, obviously, there's the high, there's the low, and all of that, but it shouldn't stop the fact that you're making money, right? It can be low or it can be higher than sometimes, but you're still making money. But when I got it, I remember that, during like the dry season, or maybe you have like what we have like during like the fall, during like the um, yeah, I think the only time they usually make money then was the festive period. So it started to look like a seasonal business, and that didn't go well for me because they were employees that had to be paid with or without anything happening. So it didn't make sense for me, and so being like the core person to make decisions and all of that, I started to really research on ways that we can make money even outside of the beverages, right? Because it was a popsicle company. But then I realized that, yes, fine, they do popsicles and all, but there are other things we can do, right? Other things we can sell, other ways we can make money, right? And so because I started to think, it started to make me want to stay. And I remember that before myself and my husband left, um, we started to do what's the name? We started to partner with real big organizations. We started to partner for like the events. We started to do event management because it was privilege, and then we realized, okay, you know what? Kids like this, corporate organizations too can take part of this, even if it is off season. So we started to go into the corporate space, because then all of these organizations have like meetings. So we started to figure out like ideas in which we can make it consumable without it being messy, right? And then, we get business all year round. We get to produce, we get to do all of these things. And so it made my brain think, it made my mind busy. And so I think that was like a motivation to stay back. And that was actually the motivation to start to dig deep into digital marketing, systems, and all of that, because then I had to move. But in moving, I was still uh, managing things, doing the things that I was doing. And I realized that, it didn't really make any, you know, it didn't really change anything as such because, business was booming. All I had to do was maybe when I needed to like go for meetings. I could just do like Zoom calls. I remember when I did my first Zoom meeting, I was so scared. I was like, are you sure these people would like it? Would they think there's a problem? and all of that. But it worked. It worked because I remember that they gave me their feedback and they were like, oh my gosh, like, I think now we'll have to start to do Zoom meetings because I didn't even realize that, virtual meetings can go this well. But, you start to think, I started to stay innovative. So I feel like that's where I started to realize that there is a life outside of our regular workspace. Like what I do shouldn't be limited to just one company, right? I could do it for so many other companies at the same time, as much as I'm adding value and I'm providing results. So, I guess that was it for me. Yeah, that was how the idea literally started. And so it started to grow. And from one business to I started with businesses first before I started with like individuals. And then it started to grow. I had the agency, I had the marketing agency, then I had the VA agency, then I had the academy, and then I had the consulting firm. Like, whoa. And then we started to have like all of that. I also have a couple of partnerships that I do. I am a silent partner to a couple of businesses. So basically, like invest some amount of money, take a particular amount of the shares, and just so that I know that it's this amazing hairline that I'm a partner to, and they're doing really well. So yeah.
So, like you said, you started from one, then you moved to the next one, then you moved to the third one. So currently, you are running three businesses. You say, right?
Yes, I am.
How do you manage the three of them at the same time? Can you share? Of course, there must be tips. Of course, that is where the people. That is actually the meat of the conversation. Yeah, please share with us.
I think the first thing for me is understanding who you truly are. What your reality is. So I always say that the last thing I want to do is lie to myself, right? Understanding who I am for me is an integral part to my success. Understanding my reality and incorporating my reality to the strategies that I use is a critical aspect and a critical part to the success that I have gotten so far. And because, one thing I realized is that when I understood who I was, it helped me manage my expectations. It helped me set clear boundaries. It helped me understand that I can't be available for everyone. I just need to pick me. When I pick me, the people that really care about me, you know, would understand and would be fine because I cannot give out of an empty cup, right? And so I started to understand me. I started to change my mindset. That was how it started to get better off for me. Because then, remember, I still have my children, right? I still have family. And you see, my children and family comes first, regardless of anything. And so I had to then figure out um, who I wanted to work with, like the kind of what my audience, would be made up of, the geography of my audience. I remember yesterday I was speaking to some of the people in the academy, and I just got on a call with them, just wanted to check in on them, and somebody asked me and was like, "Teecee, how come you don't sleep?" And I said, "No, no, 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 I sleep. It's just that." You know, maybe you think I don't sleep, but I do sleep because of the current system that I have in place for myself. Now, I said to them, I said, when I realized that I wanted to be present for the kids, I realized that, because I'm this very ambitious person, I'm this person that, when I start something, I want to get to the very end of that thing. Like, my body would not be fine until I'm done. I just need to see it through to the very end, right? And because I understood who I was, even with my marriage as well, I understand the kind of person that I am. And so that's why I know that success would not be an issue for either myself or my husband, right? Because I know who I am, and thankfully he understands who I am. We're able to work around, our relationships. Because the truth is, I've seen relationships go on a strain because of maybe this particular party, or maybe the woman is trying to do a couple of things and all of that, you know but because I understand who I am and I've accepted who I am, it helps me manage all of these things. And yes, I was able to create a system around me, the kids, and who I wanted to work with. I was able to understand step by step the skills that I needed to market, so I'm able to make the money that would sustain the other things that I needed to do. Because I finally found out that not all skills are marketable at the same time, right? And so I had to pick one that the people that I wanted to work with needed at that particular time, because then I wanted to enter into the market. I wanted to enter into the US market. I know that sometimes I've had people ask me questions like, Teecee, how come like 80% of your clientele is in the US? And I said, it was intentional for me because of the kids, because of the time zone. So I can work, I can still do what I need to do, like nothing happens, and I can still attend to my clients the very best way that I want to without having any sign of strain. Like, sometimes myself and my husband would hang out maybe during like the daytime when the kids are like gone to school, because he knows that during the night time, which is like almost like daytime for the folks in the US, his wife is busy, right? And he respects that. So I've been able to work around all of this. And then I also have team members. I have team members that I work with right now. I didn't start with them anyways, obviously, but as I started to diversify my business, I started to get help. I started to partner. So I also partner with people that do what I do, so that it complements, maybe if I have like contracts or have like projects, I can get hands that can quickly get on deck and just do it and then finish the contract and all of that. So I feel like it's the fact that I'm able to create a system around my true self. I'm not afraid to partner, because I have obviously a criteria to do that. I'm not afraid to ask for help. I'm not afraid to compete. I love healthy competitions. I love healthy competitions because it makes me want to do more, right? I know some people do not want to do that, but I love it, because I feel like with healthy competitions comes creative innovations. You just being a monopoly of your ideas is usually not. I don't really buy it. So yeah, that's just it. And I feel all of those put together has literally helped me so far, and it's still helping me. So
All right.
yeah.
Now, I think you made mention of the word system a couple of times. And I think that is very important for people that are in business. Yeah, tell me about that system. What do you mean? How do you set it up so that it can work for you? People are even asking you, "Oh, this is you don't sleep." The system allow you to sleep because you have a system that works for you that appeared as if you don't even sleep at all. So tell me about the system.
Um. Okay. So as a system, basically, and I feel like this is where people make a mistake. So many people feel like when you say the word system, we're talking about a platform or a software. No, a system is the assemblage of different puzzles, different pieces of the puzzles together, assembling it to make sense so that you're able to get the best out of it. The system includes the profitable strategy you're putting in place. The system includes the manpower. The system includes the tools. The system includes the processes. The system includes, your next step, right? Now, currently, I love to create automated systems, right? So as much as I do have a team, I started off with having like a huge team, and then but I've literally brought them all together, and now I have a lean and powerful team. That's because I literally automated the system I currently use. Now, the system is simple for me, right? Very simple. Cut off processes that are not needed, repetition, cut them all down. So I do not like repetition, but I enjoy repetition. I enjoy the benefits that comes with repetition, but I do not like the repetitive activities, right? So what I do is automate that angle. Now for every single thing, so every time I do a test or I do a launch, I document my processes, right? Now when I document my processes, I'm documenting my processes so that I can always come back to analyze and see if it works or if it didn't work. Now, if it works, what made it work? If it didn't work, why didn't it work, right? So I have like the documented processes. Now, with these documented processes, I'm able to create more like a roadmap that would help me do this again without actually stressing on it. So because I have the processes all outlined, I'm able to see where the repetition is. Like how am I able to send out emails every single day? Trust me, I don't want to do that again. So what I'm going to do is secure that angle and literally automate that entire workflow, so that for the next time I'm going to do the same thing, which obviously I'm going to repeat again, I'm just going to set it on automation and I can go do something else with myself. Now, I have gotten to that stage because my business, like I've been on this journey for like 9 years now. And so I have the processes needed of what I currently have. And all I just did was automate the systems that I already have, ensure that every single time I'm looking for better ways to shorten my sales cycle, shorten, the process in which my ideal clients would become customers and then loyal customers to my brand. So I try as much as I can to just make it as simple as possible. So every day I'm thinking of simpler ways to get things done, make things happen. And I feel like it's been a great value right now. I'm a very big fan of technology. When I say that, I remember every time I say that, my clients is like, well, it's not because I'm like, no, it's not because of anything. It's just because, I always believe in simplicity. Let's just keep it simple. Because the simpler your process is, I have understood that the better the conversion you get. So that's really what systems is all about, helping you work smart, putting a little effort or making more. So yeah, that's basically what that is.
Thank you so much. All right. Now, when you are setting up your system, how do you know if the system is going to work? Actually, coincidentally, I was recently talking with a guest not too long ago, and it was still this about system thing in business. Because I think many of us need to understand the importance of it. Because what we do in business, in most of the cases, is actually a repetition of things, no? And if we don't learn what is going to work, we are going to make a lot of mistakes. Many of us are guilty of this. So the question is, how do you really master your system? Because now you develop it, even if somebody steal it from you, because the question I was actually asking my guests is, because you document it now, somebody can actually just pick that paper or pick that file and run away with it. But there is still going to be there's still going to be a trap for that individual because you haven't really experimented on that. You don't know why the person come to the conclusion to say, you're going to add A plus B, then you minus C. Now you don't know, you just go and minus C without knowing what is the combination before that. So tell me, how do you develop this system to be sure that you can actually say this is a bulletproof for me?
So, going to the question you asked your guest, this is what I always say, or rather, this is what I always recommend to my clients, that what makes you different from the next person is your ability to personalize everything that has to do with you. Now, a good system is highly personalized. A good system, right, has a sweet atom of the human touch. And you see, that human touch, that human interference is what nobody can take away from me. They can take the documentation, they can want to do it, like literally apply it, but they can't be you. And that's why personally, I always, if you notice, I said, I use what I like, my reality, to create the system that I need for myself. My reality can never be the next person's reality. So I would give you the framework, but now this is why, or rather, this is what makes me and my brand different, is the fact that you would have the same system that I use, right? I can custom make your own system. But you see, the beautiful part is that it's yours. And the also beautiful part is the fact that even if somebody else, you sell the same thing to somebody, the person can never have the same thing because it is you. So the idea is to design a system that works for you. So we are going to be using you as an individual, your authentic self, your personality, highly personalize your system so that everything about you is speaking to you. Have you been to a space where you hear a certain thing and all you can think is a particular person, right? Because every single thing about that word speaks that person. Or maybe you see a brand and you're like, oh my gosh, this brand makes me want to remember this particular brand. Imagine another brand is selling something to you and you're thinking of somebody else, right? And that's because they have highly personalized that system. Now, that's one way, the human touch, the human interference. And that's why I always say that even with automating workflows, right, it's important that we give space for that human interference, because that is what makes us different. That is what makes us stand out. Because you see, our story, I could do the same thing. Like literally, my sister and I could maybe resemble. We could have, the same everything. But the truth is that our story is different. We have different uniqueness, like literally. And so even my twin kids, my twin boys, right? There's a huge difference. Even if they're identical twins, there's always a difference. So you want to use that thing that makes you stand out in designing your system so that it is just peculiar to you. I feel like that's why for my clients, I don't dilute the framework that I give them. I literally just the same thing. That's what I do. I say this is the framework, right? As you can see. But we are going to use your reality because everybody is different. Imagine if I'm to create a system for maybe a mom that has a business or a mom looking to scale in her business. And somebody comes and maybe you are somebody looking to retire and maybe you're trying to monetize your knowledge so that you have something to fall back on once you're done with maybe your corporate job. The two parties want monetization. But the truth is, the both of them have different objectives, different realities, different visions. But you see, all of the uniqueness is basically what we're going to use in designing that system so that it works for you. It's the same thing with strategy. You can't just because somebody comes out, in quotes, an expert comes out and say you have to post 5 times in a day. Who says for you to get get clients? Who says? It's just you ensuring that even if you use 30 minutes doing what you need to do, you're intentional, right, in the entire process. So for me, I feel like, once your system is highly personalized and, you've been able to create it the right way, trust me, even if somebody else feels they can take it away from you, they're just going to take when somebody takes just because somebody takes your house doesn't necessarily mean the person is taking your home.
That's
It's two
important.
different.
All right. Now, I want you to give somebody a kind of a step-by-step. Okay, I know, of course, what we are talking about here is that you are looking at something that looks like a fingerprint. That is what we talk about often when we talk about storytelling, which is why storytelling is very important in your marketing, in your branding, because your story is unique. There is no way another person can just replicate you. It's not possible. That is like saying that if a policeman arrests 100 people, if you fingerprint them, everything is going to be confusing because there are many people. No, every person is still unique. Now, if you were to give a kind of a recommendation for somebody to design a system that will work for him or her in their business, what are some of the prerequisites that need to be put in place? What are the way to set it up so that it can work?
Work from them. So first, I want to know what the background of the person is. I want to know the person's story. And that's why for me, for every single client that needs to work with me, we need to get in a call. Sometimes I just want to get in a conversation with you so I'm able to hear, hear from you, hear the energy. I don't, so many people do not do this, but I could say it's a bit personal for me, right? Because I need to hear your story. I need to hear what your vision is so that we're able to tailor it to that. Now, most times when I go into the whole onboarding part and all, I want to learn more about you, what your vision is, what your objectives are, what exactly you want to accomplish. And then we then figure out who you want to work with, right? Because based on who you are, what your reality is, what your objectives are, I'm able, especially for so many people that do not know how to figure out who they want to work with, who their ideal clients are. I'm able to figure out who their ideal client should be at a particular stage while they grow. Because your ideal clients is literally everybody and anybody that fits into your vision. If it's a man who is, a certain profile, or a woman with a certain kind of profile, because working with them is going to give you maybe peace of mind. Working with them is going to help you achieve that goal you want to achieve for them. And working with them is also going to help you because a win-win. I feel like entrepreneurship is a win-win. When I win for you, I win for myself. So I want to win while my winning. Winning for me is not the money. Winning for me is the fact that I'm going a step further into my vision, right? So when my clients win, I'm winning as well. So we want to be able to curate the target audience, the persons that you want to work with, right? So that you are intentionally putting in your A game. You don't want to work with a client that is only going to demoralize you, or a client that's going to make you feel less than who you are, or customers that are going to remind you that your product is inferior. No, you don't want to do that. You want to work with a client that would appreciate you, that would use your resources, that will use your tools, that would get results because they're doing the work, right? And at the end of the day, they encourage you to want to do more. Because I don't know how people do it, but for me, the more my clients get results, the more motivated I am to keep doing more, right? So I want to find out who you are. I want to find out who your ideal clients are. If you don't know, we're going to figure that out together, right? Now, once we do that, we then figure out, okay, you know what? What's your objective? So sometimes when I get on a call with the client and then the clients be like, I just want to make money, Teecee. I'm like, no, that's vague. I don't do vague. You need to be very specific because making money is relative. How much is making money for you? Making money can be a pound, a dollar, or a this. What is making money for you? How much do you want to make? What's the frequency, right? What do you currently have? Now, with all of these little questions, it helps me. So I'm not asking you these questions because I want you to feel, oh no, I'm not doing anything. No, I'm asking you this question so I know where you are. And where you are is where I want to start. That's where I want to be. because I want to help you go past where you are to get to where you need to be, right? And I feel like most importantly for me, it's important that people know that you can start where you are. Okay, starting is really all that matters. So with creating your system, you can start, just start. You can start small and then build on your system. Some people, I remember that there's this client of mine. She came to me and she's like, Teecee, I actually don't know how to say this. And I said, no, go on. And she said, she's been meeting a couple of people because she wants to expand her business. But what she currently has, right, is built around her entire business is built around Google Suites, the entire Google Workspace, right? That's all that she has. Like she uses the entire Google Workspace, like the Google Sheet, the this sheet, and all of that. And she said to me, she said, but somebody said to me not to use it. And I looked at her, she really felt really bad. She wasn't looking happy. And I said to her, I said, do you like Google Workspace? She said, yes. I said, okay, you know what? Send me what you have. So she sent me what she had. Oh my gosh, I have never seen a well detailed, fully organized income expense statement on a Google Sheet as organized as she did hers. Like it was so amazing that it was so easy. I feel like she's literally mastered the Google Workspace so good. And I said to her, I said, let's use what you want. Let's use what you have. I said to her, I remember I said to her, I said, now tell me, what exactly do you want to achieve? She said she wants to diversify her business. So she does, what's the name? She sells, she has a bakery, right? Now she wants to start to teach people how to start their bakery. So she does that. She has a store in Los Angeles, and so she wants to start to Los Angeles, and she's trying to start to, she wants to start to teach other people how to start like their bakery, do all those confectionaries and all of that. And she said, well, Teecee, somebody was telling me that I have to get this and get that, but I don't like all of those things because it feels so difficult. But I would like to make people know that you can run a successful business without literally so much difficult tech. And I said to her, let's do it. And she's like, is it possible? And I said, yes. The very funny part was that solving her problem and giving her what she wanted did take, like, I feel like the only thing that made us go through that entire 6 weeks in the program was the fact that, she wanted to launch and she wanted me to stay to the end of the very launch. That was all. But it was so easy because all we needed was optimize what she already had. We didn't have to maybe get a new platform. She had to start to learn. No, we just had to replicate, right? Basically what I think what we did was rinse and repeat what she already had. So she had like this because we used Zapier. So what we did was use Zapier to integrate her entire workspace, right? So we added then Google hadn't gotten like this booking calendar. I even sent her a message and I'm like, hey, now you can do your bookings, on your workspace. And she's like, yay. And we recently just did that. But that very first, all we literally did was integrate what she currently had, integrate it to her new um, landing page, right? Her new landing page, and then we used Zapier in literally integrating every single thing. And then we created her workflow, created her client experience process. All of it was done. Like the only addition we had to put in, to be fair, the only addition we had to put in was a CRM. That's all. And her CRM basically was a CRM we designed. It was not like your regular CRM tool because she didn't want all of those difficult tech. We had to design a CRM, which is a client's, your CRM is a customer relationship management system, majorly to track and manage your leads into sales, right? And that was basically what we did. And I tell you, she currently have in her membership for her, she call it, there's this thing she call it, she says online school. she something bakery online school, right? Now she currently has 30 amazing students, and it's been amazing. So I feel like, when it comes down to systems, there is no, or rather, personally for me, there is no one size fits all. We just need to start from where you are and design what is going to help you um, get the results that you desire.
Thank you so much for that. Now, talking of technology, because I think this is going to also be very important for businesses now, because, okay, of course, we are living in the age of technology. Now, how much technology do you use, and what tools would you recommend for businesses that are just maybe starting out and they are in this soup of what do I do? Should I do that? What should I? Of course, more like the case, the experiences of a client that you were talking about. So, what are the basic tools you would like to recommend to businesses in terms of a system, of course?
Everyone, the same way our fingers are not equal, everyone is not relatively equal. However, we have to start somewhere, right? So imagine there's this new person, you're just starting off, and you're like, where do I start from? Typically, I would prefer start with, you know, generating leads, nurturing these leads to clients. Now, nurturing these leads to clients can be as simple as, just so that you don't have to replicate certain things. Anyways, you can either start with your simple email marketing platform or um, start with your CRM. So you can do with a small CRM. Now, why I would prefer you go with a small all-in-one CRM, especially when you're just starting, is the fact that you are able to do everything in one space, right? You are able to do everything in one space. So you're able to you're able to attract the leads, you're able to generate the leads, you're able to nurture the leads, you're able to sell the leads, because there are some CRM system that um, gets you consistently showing up online, showing up on Google, showing up on your social media because it has a scheduling app, maybe a scheduling system integrated to it. And then you are able to nurture your clients and all of that because you can send out text messages, you can call, you can do your emails. So literally you can start, if you're just starting, start with an all-in-one CRM system. And that was basically what I did for the people in my academy, right? Because then I realized that there is this whole hype of spending so much on tech that you don't even understand, right? So I started to make it easy for the people in the academy just so that they're able to do all of these things in one space. So they're not all over the place. So you can do your social media, you can do your email marketing, you can sell your product, you can sell your courses, you can do your text messages, you can do your calls all in one space. So that way it's easier for you to document your processes, right? And also stay intentional. So for businesses right now, especially if you're looking to working, even if it's not online, offline. I have clients that have like offline businesses that also still use it, because the truth is you want to be able to reach your clients where they are without necessarily um, having so much having so much to think about, right? So you are able to track and manage them. Okay, so I would say start with your CRM. If you're starting from scratch, you don't have anything, start with an all-in-one CRM, that you can work around. I feel that would be a very good space to start from, because then it gives you the ability to learn about your clients, attract them, nurture them, and guide them into buying from you.
That is really very important. The conversation that we are sharing today. Of course, here we usually do multiple episodes. That there are other things I would also like to ask you about marketing and all of that, but that is okay. We can do that on another day. That is another excuse to bring you here again another time. So share with people, how can they reach you, those who want to do business with you?
Okay, so you can email me, right? You can email me at info at tcbusinesssolutions.com, or you can just send me a DM on LinkedIn, right? Send me a DM on LinkedIn. Teecee Okore, my name. You will see my cute face. You can't miss it. You can also send me a DM on Instagram at TCOBM. Now, the good part is that all of this, I have the same profile, so you can't miss it really. So you can message me on Instagram, tc.obm. You can message me on LinkedIn, Teecee Okore, or you can just send me an email, info@tcbusinesssolutions.com. You can also go to my website, okay, tcbusinesssolutions.com as well. Super easy.
It's easy. It's easy. It's easy. It's good to make it easy, All right. So, Teecee, what would be the final thought here to conclude the conversation? It really have been very valuable.
So I would say that don't wait to start, okay? Just start. It's never always easy, but it's always, 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 always possible. And just so you know, we all can win. We all need to win. There are so many people that are relying on our success. I know that life can be difficult, but one thing I've realized is that you were created for a reason, for a purpose, and you want to live that purpose, right? And so you don't have any rights, okay? You don't have any rights to quit.
I love that. I love that. That is so beautiful. You see, one time I was interviewing a guest here. We were talking about uh, the rate of suicide among young people. And in this case, of course, we're looking at the United States again. Then at the point I was telling this guest, I said, in African understanding of life, you don't have a right to even take your own life because life is something that we share. So this is in alignment with that. We believe that we are supposed to share this life. So let's help each other. Let's believe that if we are successful, other people are going to benefit from that. So we owe it to the good, to the happiness of those many, many people that are going to benefit. So we need to struggle hard, knowing that this is a mission that we need to succeed on. Thank you so very much for that. I appreciate that.